All right, folks, I'm Tom Downey here. You're watching the Cowboys Report. We'll move along now to our originally scheduled programming here. We'll break down some Cowboys rumors, and we'll come back to Randy Gregory later on in the show. First up, how about Michael Crabtree and the Dallas Cowboys? I know some of you guys want him. I hate to be the double bearer of bad news today, but I'm only going to give this one star. I like the idea. I am open to it, but I don't know if it's quite right for the Cowboys. Now, the Ravens have told Crabtree that they're going to cut him, so he's going to be a free agent. And he is from Dallas, so it makes sense. Bring him back in. There's that logical fit there. The problem is, even though I like Crabtree, can't he find more money and targets elsewhere? And I think the Cowboys want to develop Michael Gallup. So in that point, do they want to bring Crabtree, who I think would help for the Cowboys? Do they want to have the reunion of Crabtree and Cooper, which at the end, didn't really work for the Oakland Raiders, so I don't know if it would really work right now. And Crabtree, I think, can still kind of be a low-end number 2, a high-end number 3, but would you rather go to like the Bills or the Cardinals, where he gets probably more money and more playing time, than to be the third, in reality, fourth fiddle to the Cowboys offense behind Cooper? I think, in reality, behind Gallup in terms of the way the Cowboys want to use their receivers. You can move Cooper in the slot on third downs. That's fun there. So I like the idea of Crabtree. It's a great idea to do in Madden. But I don't know if Crabtree and the Cowboys are an ideal fit right now in terms of what each side is looking for. I think the Cowboys might have more interest in signing or drafting somebody or signing somebody cheaper. And for Crabtree, he's still not quite the end of his career where he makes sense to go back home to Dallas. I think he'll get more money and more playing time elsewhere. So will Mike Crabtree sign with the Cowboys? Type C for the Cowboys or D for a different team. I'm open to the idea. I'm intrigued by the idea. But I just don't think the timing is quite right for the Cowboys at this point. We'll stick on offense here. How about Tyler Eifert to the Dallas Cowboys? This one makes some more sense. I'm going to give it 2 stars. I like this idea a lot. I think it's a fun idea for the Cowboys. And by the way, you got Jalen Smith out there tweeting at Tyler Eifert, and Tyler Eifert liked it. And as I said on Twitter, Eifert liking the Jalen Smith tweet, it's a done deal. It's happening. That's the rules of social media. Likes equal endorsements. That's the only reality that we're at here. Now, in all seriousness, there is mutual interest between Eifert and the Cowboys. He and Jalen are friends. Tyler Eifert's sister married Zach Martin. The Cowboys would like to have interest in a flyer on Eifert. Medical is the big checkout thing here. Eifert has missed more games than he has played in his NFL career. That's a big red flag. But for a team like the Cowboys, who at least, worst case, can just use Schultz and Jarwin again next year, I think that makes some sense. So, do you want to bring in Eifert? Yeah, he hasn't played much the past 2 years. Injury's a big problem there. When he's on the field, he's a very, very good tight end and gives you that red zone threat. We've seen that over his NFL career. Look at 2016, 2015. Almost a touchdown per game. That's exactly what you want if you're the Dallas Cowboys. So from a risk-reward perspective, I think it is absolutely worth it for the Cowboys to bring in Eifert. It's going to be a cheap one-year prove-it type deal. So from that perspective, I absolutely like the move. He's not going to break the bank. There's probably going to be incentives. I like the idea. But what do you think? Should Dallas sign Tyler Eifert? Give me a 1 for yes and a 0 for no in the comments section. Now, today's show is brought to you by BetDSI, the internet's #1 sportsbook. Head over to chatsports.com/bet and use that promo code you see on your screen, Cowboys120, for a 120% deposit bonus. And right now, folks, they've got combine bets up there. I tweeted some of them out. They got over-unders for a bunch of 40 times. I bet a lot of money on the combine. There are some valuable bets out there. Go check my timeline or DM me on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney if you want the inside scoop of which prop bets to go for the NFL Combine. Again, that's with BetDSI, chatsports.com/bet, promo code Cowboys120. All right, some more Cowboys rumors here. Should Dallas pay Zeke like Todd Gurley? I think this makes sense. 3 stars. Then Stephen Jones said quite a few things today. Made some cracks about Amari Cooper, which I thought were pretty funny. Commented on Dak and DeMarcus Lawrence and so on. But for Gurley and Zeke, Stephen Jones says the Cowboys have budgeted for Ezekiel Elliott, and the deal starts around with what Todd Gurley got. Now, Zeke is not the offseason priority. That is especially true in light of the Randy Gregory suspension. It's still DeMarcus Lawrence. But he is a priority, and if Stephen Jones is to believe, which I tend to do believe him here, I think Zeke makes sense. And this is what you're generally looking at here in terms of the extension. This was the contract extension Gurley got. 4 years, $57.5 million, a lot of it guaranteed, about $14.4 million per year. Now that goes up with the salary cap rising. I am on board with this. The key here is that you have got to structure the contract properly, and you've got to get help for Zeke. He cannot touch the ball almost 400 times or 350 times in a year and think his body's going to hold up. So if you want to invest in Zeke Elliott, that's fine, but you cannot just keep giving the ball 350, 100, or 350 times a year and think it's going to work out. So I'm on board with this. Structure the contract where you can get out of it after a year or two of the actual extension, and get some help on the running back side of things, get some added depth there. Now, in terms of a Zeke extension, what would you pay Zeke per year? Let me know in the comment section, and let me know if you guys want a Zeke Elliott contract projection video. We did one for Dak, did one for DeMarcus, which we might have to change now because I think he might get more with Randy Gregory's suspension. But let me know, what would you pay Zeke per year? Now, we'll stick with Zeke Elliott here in terms of our Cowboys Rumors Roundup. Is Zeke holding the Cowboys back? No, of course he's not. This is fake news, Blogging the Boys. They published their article. Double Down had to do too because they got so much negative feedback. The claim was that Zeke actually hurts the Cowboys. Now, look, you can make fair arguments about not paying backs big money. I have before. Or the way the Cowboys run their scheme. I certainly have before. But the idea that, quote, Zeke just may not be so great for Dallas' hopes of winning championships, that's just stupid. I mean, come on, guys, be better. Like, let's not be dumb here. If you don't want to pay backs in general, I get that. But the idea that Zeke Elliott right now is bad for the Cowboys doesn't actually make sense. If you don't want to pay Zeke $14 million a year, you know what? I understand that. Let's not pretend that Zeke is somehow holding the Cowboys back, though. That's not what's going on here. Zeke is a focal point of this ground game. I would like to change the offense a little bit there. But Zeke's not bad for the Cowboys. You can make scheme issues. You can change the offense if you want. Lessen the workload of Zeke Elliott. Those are scheme things. Those are not player issues. So Zeke Elliott is not the problem for the Cowboys. That's a terrible take to begin with. All right, more Cowboys rumors here on today's show. Let's talk tight ends. Is Blake Jarwin among the NFC East best tight ends? And I had a tough time figuring out what star to give this one. I'm going to go with one. Let me explain why. So, Pro Football Focus sent out their tweet of, here are the top 5 NFC East tight ends. Blake Jarwin checks in at number 5 overall. Then 24/7 Sports headline says, quote, Blake Jarwin is among best tight ends in NFC East. Define best. Because 5th doesn't actually feel like best. 5th feels like good backup, and because he's not actually a starter. He wasn't even the best starter. He wasn't top 4. He was number 5. Like if I said that Dak rated out 5th among NFC's quarterbacks, you wouldn't say he's the best one, right? That doesn't make any sense to me. So again, it doesn't fit logically for me in the end here. Because if he's number 5, then he's not among the best. That's below average at best. So I don't think that makes any sense for the Cowboys there. So that's kind of why I struggled there with my grade when it came down to Blake Jarwin. Again, 5th among NFC East tight ends, behind Jordan Reed in no particular order. Evan Ingram, Zach Ertz, and Dallas Goedert. Those were the top 5 there, 1 through 5, Ingram to Jarwin. That's not best. So that headline doesn't actually make any sense to me. So if you saw it, it's a little bit deceptive in the end there for the Dallas Cowboys. All right, one last rumor for you guys. How about Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and the Dallas Cowboys? I'm going to go with 1 star again here. Dallas Morning News pegged him as a combine draft target, which I like that idea. It would have made sense if the Cowboys were drafting in round 1. I don't think he actually makes sense for the Cowboys in round 2 because I don't think he's going to be there. He's a very good player, fits that positional flex the Cowboys love. I think could play multiple defensive back spots, maybe even all of them. I mean, he's played nickel mostly this past year, was a free safety, has played plenty of strong safety, and played some corner as well. So when it comes down to it, I just don't think he's going to be there. I think all 5 of these top 60 prospects probably won't be there. Jonathan Abram, Nasir Adderley, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Darian Thompson, and Taylor Rapp. I like all of those players. I just don't think you'll see the Cowboys end up getting them when it comes down to it. That's why it's only the 1 star. All right, folks, you are watching the Cowboys Report. Again, our breaking news from earlier today. Randy Gregory has unfortunately been suspended by the NFL. It's an indefinite suspension for a violation of the substance abuse policy. A big blow there for the Dallas Cowboys. Leaves them thin at defensive end. We don't know what triggered the suspension, but it could have been a failed test, a missed test. All those count the same. Either way, don't bank on Randy playing for the Cowboys next year, unfortunately. Some other news items here. Dak Prescott in some minor trouble because one of Dak's dogs bit one of his neighbors. And the neighbor's okay. Did need a hospital visit. Dak could be fined up to $500. It's nothing to be concerned about for like a suspension from the NFL. It's not suspension worthy, but it is noteworthy there. Normally, dog bites, man, isn't newsworthy, but Dak's dog biting, man, absolutely is. And then one last news item for you guys. Darian Thompson, the lone restricted free agent, will not be tendered by the Cowboys. Played almost only on special teams, had 1 defensive snap. Cowboys open to re-signing him for less money, but for now, he is not going to be on the roster. Could come back on a 1-year, no guarantee deal. I like the vet minimum, at least for Thompson's age. Didn't make an impact on defense. I like him coming out of Boise State, but I don't think he's going to make sense as a long-term option. Either way for the Cowboys, they need to go find some more safety depth, if not get an impact player like an Earl Thomas. Hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.